In this video, we're hitting the trails at Red River, New Mexico. Okay, good. Goose Lake Trail was my favorite trail while we were there. It's not a horrible trail, but it is a little tricky in spots. So we tried one day and it was raining, and we just decided it wasn't safe to do that. It's a little tight and there's some ledges, but it's a beautiful trail and there's some historical pieces along the way, old buildings and things, and the lake at the top is just phenomenal. It's beautiful. You can get photos. You've got the mountain goats that stay there all the time waiting to be fed. To get to Goose Lake, you just cross the road at the gas station, and then once you cross the highway, you can get on the other road and run down to Goose Lake. The trail to Goose Lake's just on the right. And I said this in the last video, but as far as for adults, there's no requirements for helmet. I don't know about for kids. You know, we wore our seatbelts, but there was no other requirements. You do have the OHV sticker, but it doesn't have to be a street legal vehicle. There is also a water crossing. It was fairly deep when we were there, but that's how some of the four-wheel drive vehicles go across to go up this trail, which it's way tight for a four-wheel drive vehicle, even a Jeep, I think, but there were several up there. And just a little bit on this trail, you'll come up to a little bit steeper section with some cliffs on the left that are fairly, or edges on the left, I guess. So you have to be pretty careful. There's nothing that's too bad, but you do have to be pretty careful when you're making the drive up there, especially with the four-wheel drives. This is the section I'm not sure how they make it through. This area is probably the worst of it as far as the edges. There's some other tight areas, but as far as the edges, this was the only thing that I thought was even remotely dangerous. It can be a little tricky to see other vehicles coming, especially those that are really flying. So that's probably the most dangerous part. From here on, it's just a pretty drive up there. you can see here it's a little rocky, but even that's not too bad. The other thing you had to watch out for was the tree limbs. Here you can see all the trees that had fallen over too from their storm, and every now and then there'd be a branch out in the road you had to be aware of. We actually did this drive a couple of times. We did it once with just Vic and I to make sure it was nothing too serious, and then we came back up and brought Mom and the puppies since it wasn't too bad and was a fun drive and a beautiful drive. This is obviously speeded up to 3 times normal. The reason this takes so long, it's a pretty good drive, but it's also you have to go slow with all the rocks and the edges and the trees. It is just a slow going up trail. just about the time you think you're never going to get to the top, you'll come up on the top. But on the way up, there is a little cave on the right, and there are some old mining buildings on the left that you can stop at and wander through. One other thing to note, when we were there was a pit toilet, but the doors were locked. So, I guess you're left to your own resources. But it's a beautiful stop at the lake to wander around and wander down to the lake. Just had a great time doing it. Obviously, these girls were used to the handout, so they were all up in your thing. I wouldn't leave any food in your side-by-side or in your vehicle that wasn't secured. And that's pretty much it for this video. The next video is going to be more of the trails over at Greeny Peak and the drive over to Cuesta, or however you pronounce it, and some more in that area. There's also a lake over there and some unique sights along the way. So please like and subscribe. Thanks.